been married to my wife, Sharon, this month for 35 years. I have two sons, Jordan and Chad. I remember their names this time. I have a beautiful daughter, Emily, granddaughter, Addison. I graduated from White House High School, attended TJC, and attended Stephen F. Austin University. I was managing partner of Nick's Roses. I've served as president of Nick's Landscape Supply Incorporated. I'm very active in my church. I serve as deacon. I teach a men's Sunday school class. I'm a member of the White House Area Chamber of Commerce, Tyler Area Chamber of Commerce, and also a member of the Better Business Bureau of East Texas. And I say my business has been a 4-star gold award the past 4 years. I'm very proud of that. I've enjoyed this job as Smith County Commissioner. I love helping people, and thank you.
Mr. Barnett.
And yeah, following attorneys, I knew we were going to be doing it. That's why I did wear my boots today. My name is Barry Barnett. I am running for Smith County Commissioner for Precinct 2. We moved to Smith County in 1997 after I got out of the Air Force. My wife Carrie and I live in the Ullman community of Smith County outside of ARC. We have 5 children, 2 grown, 3 still living at home. They attend ARC public schools. I'm a veteran of the United States Air Force, just like Mr. Radican is. I've got 16 years of service. I've got 4 left to go before I retire. I served in Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm. I was picked to serve on President George H.W. Bush's transportation detail when he ran for re-election against Clinton back in 1992. I was involved in the recovery from the Alfred B. Murrah federal building bombing in Oklahoma City on April 19th of 95. I served in Operation Enduring Freedom in response to the attack on the United States on 9/11. I'm a member of the ARC Volunteer Fire Department. I also serve as a legislative committee member for the State Firemen and Fire Marshals Association. I am the past president and the current representative for the Northeast Texas District for the State Firemen and Fire Marshals Association. I own and operate East Texas Jet Support, which is a corporate aviation consulting firm and charter operation. We service Tyler, Texas and Nashville, Tennessee. I'm the executive director of the East Texas Playoff Preview, which is the largest organization of its kind in Texas. It promotes high school basketball in Texas and furnishes scholarships to students who are wanting to continue their education after high school. I graduated from Leverage Chapel High School, where my father was superintendent of schools, where I am currently the president of the Ex-Students Association. I graduated from Tyler Junior College and received my Bachelor's of Science degree from the University of Texas at Tyler. I'm a fiscally responsible constitutional conservative. This means I will work with zero-based budgets as your next county commissioner. I'm a firm supporter of our Second Amendment, as I am a member of the NRA and Gun Owners of America. I'm a believer of traditional Christian values. My family attends ARC Emmanuel Baptist Church in ARC. I'm a strong proponent of all of our constitutional rights, and not just during campaign season. I am absolutely pro-life. I was adopted by 2 of the greatest parents that a child could have. Life was my greatest gift my biological mother could have ever given me. My opponent has made the promise to fix the county roads in 2010 when he ran for election, knowing he could not do it since the Road and Bridge Fund was cut by 37% in 2010 to $6.85 million from a peak funding level of $10.7 million in 2009. The cuts to Road and Bridge were among about $7.8 million in expenditure reductions that year. Instead of using the funds budgeted to fix the roads last year, he instead voted to move $3.996 million to the Loop 49 project. Now he is trying to move millions more taxpayer dollars to the Loop 49 project instead of our county roads. We need somebody who will not divert funds for special projects and will stand firm on fixing our county roads. I am that person, and I ask for your support.
All right, thank you. We move to the question and answer phase of this particular debate. And again, we begin with Dave Beery from the Tyler Morning Telegraph. Dave?
Okay, Commissioner Nix, you've taken the issue on animal control as one of your projects. The county has been urged by some citizens to partner with private entities and even the city of Tyler to come up with a comprehensive animal control solution. What's the future of animal control in Smith County?
Well, it's a problem for a lot of our citizens out in the county. In fact, we're going to meet this week with the city of Tyler. They have taken upon themselves to start a shelter. We're going to see if we're going to partner with them, but we got to look out for the best interests of Smith County. You know, we're a holding facility. We're not a shelter. We've got to make a decision that whether we can partner with them or it's best for the tax dollars that we're going to have to spend to build our own facility and run it ourselves. But that's going to be an issue that's coming up in the next future, and it's on the horizon.
Mr. Barnett, what's your opinion about the future of animal control in Smith County?
Well, as a livestock owner and as a pet owner, and I live out in the rural area, it is an issue, and it's an issue that I hate euthanization. We need to do a better job, I think, of trying to find homes for the animals. I know I've talked to several people that work down there at the shelter. They've told me a lot of what's taking place down there, the problems that they incur with regards to the lack of funds. It is one of those things that I have pledged to help with regards to trying to raise more funds for them and trying to bring more emphasis to it as Commissioner of Smith County Precinct 2.
All right, Roy Maynard.
I'm going to ask this question. We'll begin with Mr. Barnett, but Clint, I'm probably going to want to follow up to this after they both answer.
Okay.
Mr. Barnett, you just spoke about cuts made to road and bridge budget. Would you elaborate on the contention you just made and what you would have done differently?
Well, first of all, we didn't have a strategic plan in place, and this goes all the way back to 2008. When you don't have a plan and you're operating on a whim, you're taking things day by day instead of doing things with a plan, then no, you're not going to be able to fix the county roads like you're supposed to. If we take the funds that were appropriated to road and bridge and use those funds to go and repair the roads on a priority basis, then I don't think we would be in the issue or in the situation where we are right now with the conditions of the road rating as bad and poor. One of the things that I think it's fiscally irresponsible to take the kind of money that we're throwing at Toll 49 and not putting it towards the county roads like we've been promised several times now. And one of the things that I intend to do, just like Harry Truman did in Missouri, is take the money that's appropriated to road and bridge and fix those roads.
You had a follow-up, Roy?
First of all, Keith's bringing up that we have designated $3.9 million. I have never voted for one dime since I've been in office to go to the toll road. You're entitled to your opinion, but you need to get your facts straight. As far as the county roads, you know, when I took office, they had a major cutback in 2010. They had to make some tough decisions. You know, county roads, unfortunately, were part of the ones that got cut. We couldn't cut the jail, the sheriff's department. We couldn't cut the courts. Those are things we have to do, you know. And so we went into a maintenance only mode. I'm having less complaints about county roads than I ever have. We're very proactive, reactive in what we do, and our road and bridge does a great job on taking care of the problem.
Okay, let's follow up with a specific question here. Mr. Barnett, during the height of the budget crisis in 2010, the county was making those cuts in order to avoid a tax increase. Would you have supported a tax increase to avoid those cuts?
No, I would not have supported a tax increase. We did not have a plan in place, and then we did things which has already been talked about with regards to pay raises. We did things that was fiscally irresponsible. We did not, in my opinion, we did not do what was necessary to preserve the funding to fix the roads on an as-needed basis. Yeah, and during a budget crisis, not everything's going to get fixed. Buildings are going to go down, roads are going to go down, services are going to get cut. But when it comes to the roads that everybody has to drive on every day, going to work, going home, then those things need to be a priority, and that should be the last place where funds should be taken from.
Mr. Nix.
Well, like I said, you're going to have to cut it somewhere. Are you suggesting you're going to cut it at law enforcement? They had a certain amount of money they had to spend. I think they actually had to raise the tax rate just a penny and a half. And that was a tough decision for several of the court members. 2 of them voted against it, and I think 3 of them voted for it. It was very tough that year. I was elected, although I wasn't on the court at the time, and I can remember the dissension they had up there. That was a very tough decision for those people.
All right, Dave Perry with our next question.
Mr. Nix, the Smith County tax rate has climbed steadily since 2000, though it remains relatively low for a county our size. Has the rate kept up with the needs of the county, and do you see a need for more revenues?
No, I don't. You know, one of the problems, the great things about Smith County, why we're getting so much growth, are people like our tax rate here. They like coming here to do business. We're very business friendly, and you know, I think our neighboring county. I was out in the community yesterday doing some work. I drove down Lapeer Lane and bus right into Cherokee County. In Smith County, this road was paved and nice. As soon as I got to Cherokee County, it was a dirt road. Their tax rate's over 50%. So I think our tax rate is very good, and I think we do the best of what we're working with.
Mr. Barnett.
I have no problem with our tax rate where it's at. One of the things that I know that we're dealing with right now is with regards to some of the different departments, some of the areas that they're feeling the crunch. I know, like right now with the sheriff's department, they're down 12 deputies. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, we're seeing cuts and we're seeing people leave because of different reasons. And I think some of those things need to be addressed. One of the things, too, with regards to the roads, you know, there's a term out there, and it's called road privatization plan. You know, there's talk about hiring an engineer. Well, an engineer is going to run $90,000 some odd dollars, you know, plus you know, whatever the county benefits are. You know, one of the things that a lot of the private companies have is a staff engineer. And they can go out, they can do an analysis on a road, bring that analysis back to the commissioner's court, and the commissioner's court can vote whether or not to go ahead and approve or not approve the repair of that road based upon whatever the bid is that's given to them. And by utilizing the staff engineers at those companies, I think that's money that we'll save, not to mention the fact of the less upkeep on the equipment for road and bridge, because all the private companies will be using their own equipment. They'll be using their own personnel. That frees up our road and bridge people to take care of some of the drainage issues that a lot of people are claiming about in our precinct.
All right, Roy Maynard, our next set of questions.
I'm going to make this one another follow-up. I want to hear some specifics. Mr. Barnett, you say that you're against cuts to road and bridge, and you're against cuts to the sheriff's department and law enforcement, but you want to keep the tax rate the same. Where do you see cuts coming from?
Well, first of all, one of the things that we see, and it's in, and I hate to go back to it because it's out there, it's a huge black eye. You know, it's the court system. You know, we see a huge amount of money that's being spent with the courts. You know, the 321st District Court has, you know, it's way over budget. We understand that. We need to, I think, look back at the way the courts are doing business, work with the judges a little bit, and see if we can't bring those numbers down. But one of the things that we can't control, you know, and Matt Bingham will be the first one to tell you this, and some of the other attorneys that are here, you can't control what people are going to do day to day. I mean, it's cases go up and they go down. And the thing that the Commissioner's Court has to be aware of with regards to the courts is they can't control how many cases come in. The more cases they have, the higher their budget's going to be. We're going to get to a point here in Smith County because we are growing, and the services that we're having to extend to more people will probably cost us or make us have to raise the tax rate. I don't want to have to do that. It's not a fun thing to do. I mean, nobody wants to see their tax bills go up. But Smith County is a very popular county for people to live in. The seniors are moving here. They're seeing the outstanding medical services that we have here, the educational institutions that we have, University of Texas at Tyler, Tyler Junior College, Texas College, all these institutions are producing some quality young people to the workforce. Smith County is growing. We may have to go up on the tax rate a little bit to take care of some of the services because we're servicing more people.
Commissioner Nix, would you
Well,
like to?
I mean, what did he say he was gonna cut? You never did say what you're gonna cut, you said you're gonna say raise taxes. Did I hear that right?
I said, we don't know what we're going to cut.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to respond, or was that?
What was, I'm sorry, just rephrase the question if you don't mind.
If we don't want to cut roads, we don't want to cut law enforcement, where could cuts come from?
Well, that would be a very tough decision. I mean, you either gotta have more revenue, the pie's only so big up there, and there's, you gotta figure out, you might have to cut positions in certain departments, streamline those a little bit. You just have to assess just exactly what you needed to do.
Did you have a follow-up for that, Roy, or? No.
I had a rebuttal on that, if I may.
Okay, go ahead.
That was my whole point. It's hard to sit here and make a call on where you're going to cut because of the growth of the county. If the county's shrinking, then we're not going to have the need for the numbers of staff in a lot of the different departments. But as the county continues to grow, then that means we're extending more services. Services cost money. It's not free. Nothing in this country is free. So if we have to raise it by a penny or two, then that may be what we have to do. You have to take a look at everything and look at all options. Nothing is closed door, whether cutting from the sheriff's office, cutting from the veterans, cutting from anything. Nothing's closed, but you review all your options.
That's our time on that one. Dave Berry has our next question. Dave?
Okay, this is a bit of a follow-up to that statement. Mr. Barnett, although the Commissioners Court sets the budget for other county departments, the court can't run those offices if they're headed by an elected official. What has the court, or can the court do to work with other elected officials to make sure basic services are delivered at the lowest cost?
Well, that's having a good working relationship with each department heads. And if it's me, I'm going to have a face-to-face with each department head in the county. I'm going to ask them to present me their budget. We're going to take a look at where last year's budget was, take a look at where their current fiscal budget is now, and look and see whether it's on the increase, whether it's on the decrease. And if it is on the increase, then why? In which we go back to the zero budget program. One of the things that I like about a lot of the department heads here in Smith County is there's a lot of smart people. Everybody is really tuned in to streamlining their departments. And I've talked to quite a bit of them during this process. And that is one of the reasons why we have seen just minor raises in the budget. But it's like I said, one of the things that they're all saying too is our population is growing. They're seeing more and more people come through their departments. One of the things that will help tremendously is the jail program. That is going to take a huge load off of us with regards to inmates. The other thing too is with we don't have a fleet management program for vehicles. That is something that will save us a lot of money by implementing. The state of Texas has the best fleet management system there is, and we need to mirror that system. That will help us quite a bit in savings.
Well, I have a very good relationship with all our elected officials. In fact, I have a very good relationship with our county department head. Orville Banks is here, and she can vouch that I come up and see her at least once a week. I go to every department head throughout the week, ask them what's going on in their department, if there's any assistance that can be to help them. I get the pulse of what they're doing. I get the pulse of what our elected officials are doing. Our county government's like spaghetti. It's all mangled together. You got to be able to sort that out, and I think I do a great job of that.
Okay, well, I think we have time for one last question from Roy Maynard from the Title Morning Telegraph.
I'm not sure I've ever heard county government referred to as like spaghetti, but works for me. This is going to be something of another follow-up to our follow-up. Mr. Barnett, I heard you say that you would support that you advocate additional services, particularly for veterans and senior citizens. Here's the question. What additional services would you be willing to pay for, even if it involves a tax increase?
Well, one of the things that a lot of the service members need that we're a little bit lacking right now is from a legal standpoint. There's a lot of, we have over 18,000 veterans here in Smith County, and that's a lot. There's a lot of them that I have visited with, a couple of them that have been in a couple of roundtable sessions, that are Vietnam vets, and they are suffering from the effects of that war. The one thing that we deal with veterans is when they run, I guess, not a muck of the law, but if they get into trouble, there needs to be a way to help them through the legal process, because a lot of what's happening to them is not their fault. It's one of those things of, extending a hand out to them. It's not for lack of punishment of anything like that, because everybody's responsible for their actions. But we need to do a better job with the veterans with regards to legal services. With regards to the senior citizens, we need to come up with some better ways to help them function with the new technical era that we live in today. We live in a new society where the internet is our best friend, just about. To a lot of senior citizens, they still don't know how to turn that computer on. And we need to help them to be able to access a lot of their needs on that computer.
Mr. Nix.
As far as the veterans, I think Marshall Gosselin, our new veterans officer, he does a great job of directing those veterans to the benefits and plans that's available throughout the federal government. And what was the other part of the question?
You mentioned services for seniors.
Service for seniors, I'm all for helping our seniors. As far as transportation, I would be willing to look at some of those options. A lot of people just can't get where they need to go. We need to take care of our senior citizens. They took care of us all this time, we owe it to them.
All right, we've come to the end of the question and answer phase. We're going to allow both candidates a couple of minutes to wrap up this evening, and we begin with the challenger, Barry Barnett. Mr. Barnett.
Thank you. And I want to thank Mr. Yates. You've been a great moderator tonight. I want to say thanks to CBS 19, Tyler Morning Telegraph, for sponsoring this debate. I'd like to say a special thanks to all of you watching and who showed up despite the inclement weather. It's good to see more people taking an interest in Smith County local government. You, the voters, have a decision to make, and when you look at the differences between me and my opponent, it is very easy to see that I will best serve the citizens of Smith County. Mr. Nix has had 4 years to do what he promised and has done little to nothing. Mr. Nix knew the roles of the commissioner, and yet he voted not to appoint board members to the SD boards, which was a responsibility of the Commissioners Court. Now we have elections for the board members, which will cost the taxpayers up to $30,000 per election. If the voters are going to do their jobs for them, then perhaps the salary for the job should be reduced. At any rate, I will vote to terminate the elections and go back to appointing board members to the various boards. We need to do a better job of retaining our law enforcement officers. As I said earlier, we're currently down 12 deputies in the Sheriff's Department. We need to speak to the employees of the county and find out from them why they're leaving to work elsewhere. If there's a problem, we need to fix it regardless of the personalities that are involved. There is no strategic business plan for this county. We currently are operating off of a whim. If we had a business plan, we'd be able to do a better job of maintaining the funds for our infrastructure and the road maintenance. We currently do not have a viable fleet management plan. We're wasting thousands of dollars each year on old vehicles requiring more maintenance than the vehicles will work. I will push to implement a comprehensive system mirrored with the state of Texas and their fleet management plan. There are way too many decisions made in executive session that need to be explained to the taxpayers. Simply put, we need more transparency in the Commissioner's Court. I am Barry Barnett, running for County Commissioner Precinct 2, and I appreciate your vote on March 4th. Thank you.
Commissioner Nix, well, first we apologize for that.
First of all, I'd like to thank CBS 19 and Tyler Paper for this opportunity to come in our district. Look, I'm very proud of my record at Smith County. I've answered every email, I've answered every phone call. It's very pleasing for a constituent when I call them to say, thank you for returning my call. research every issue that comes before the court. I'm very proud of the fact that we were the first county, thanks to Rosalie Howard, that put In God We Trust back in our Smith County Courthouse, and Commissioner's Room, and other entities throughout the city, Tyler followed our lead. My opponent, in his last debate, talked about transparency, and I agree transparency is very important. You know, as elected officials, we're supposed to file reports that are due. We're supposed to file one to 15, we're supposed to file one 30 days before the election. My question to you, and I think you owe it to the voters, is your report is over a week late. Do you have a response for that? You can talk about transparency, but transparency starts at home. I want to know what you're hiding there. As far as the ESD, we've appointed every board. I haven't backed off with any of that. As far as the elections, I think that any entity that levies a tax should be elected. School boards, if they hold elections, are they holding money away from schools? As you're saying that we're going to hold elections, if the ESD holds elections, we're going to hold elections funds from firefighters? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So county, if we're holding a county election, then we're going to be holding road funds that could go to roads. That's part of doing business. I thank you for this time. I ask for your vote March 4th.
All right, thank you.